Welcome back to Coin Sense and Nonsense. Today, we've got 10 bars from USSC, United States Silver Corporation. And my buddy Bob Silver, you're in luck. Right, so I missed St. Patrick's Day by a week or two, but still happy to have this one. And the leprechaun with the clover and his little mushroom, I guess that's his house. I don't know, they live under the mushroom. Something about the leprechaun and the mushroom. Anyway, March 1975, and the classic Type 1 USSC reverse. And so let's get this into a capsule and check the good book. Right, so here we go. And nice. Let's check the book. There we are. St. Patrick's Day, March 1975, USSC 218. And no variants, but St. Patrick's Day, obviously made in 75. No serial number, type 1 reverse, no mintage data, but rarity value 4. Next up is another St. Patrick's Day bar, and this one is 1974. Probably should have done this one first, but so be it. Anyway, he's hanging out under the mushroom. I don't know if he's burning one or what that is there, but pretty cool. So happy to have this one. It's a little worse for wear, but still pretty darn cool. Let's see if we can capsulize here. Oh, that's upside down. And that's two tops. Oh well. So there might be some bloopers, but that one is staying in. And here we are in the book, USSC 213. And again, no varieties. St. Patrick's Day 1974, Type 1, 3,500 minted, and rarity value 3. And so if you're not familiar, I get this question almost all the time. Here's the book. There's the title. Get the 5th edition. It's in almost every video. So rarity value is kind of like a relative value. I kind of use it as if there's a dollar amount in there that is kind of like spot price plus that amount. But when this book was published, which was like 2007, and these are not necessarily always accurate. Next up, it's another holiday. This one, Independence Day. And this is so neat. So Independence Hall, got the Declaration of Independence, Minuteman or somebody there with the gun. And very neat and clean USSC Type 1 reverse. So let's get this protected. I think this time I got the right combo of, yes, nice. So let's check the book. And here we are, USSC 224, no varieties. 1974, obviously, 3,700 minted, and rarity 3. So I guess they're around. I don't know. I haven't really seen them. So, and continuing on with more holiday, Uncle Sam Still Wants You. So this is not necessarily a 4th of July bar, but still super patriotic with Uncle Sam. And this will be the first of several of these portrait style bars we'll get into. And here it is. So USSC 182. Uncle Sam. There is a canceled version of this one, but don't have that. So Type 2, that just means it's portrait style, 5,000 minted, and $20 rarity value. So that is awesome. Just like the previous bar, this one you don't see too often in the wild. I was lucky to run into it. So let's get that into a capsule. There we go. All right, next up, another portrait style bar. And this continues the USSC I guess, famous buildings series. They have several, like Leaning Tower of Pisa, Big Ben, Eiffel Tower. So this one is pretty neat and kind of spotted up. I'm not sure that the old dipski can rescue that, and I'm a little hesitant to dip any of my USSC bars, but we shall see if I get motivated sometime. But for now, let's get it into a capsule. All right. Don't close the gloves in the capsule. There you go. Here we are in the book, and you can see some of the other ones that I mentioned, large buildings. No. So 209, and again, no varieties. Taj Mahal. 1974, Type 2, 4300 minted, and rarity value 4. Next up are these Barbary Coast bars. There's 2 here. And they're not duplicates. They are slightly different. And so that's one of the cool things about this, or I don't know if it's cool, but challenging to be able to collect the different variants. Supposedly there are 4 different varieties of this release. And this is, I think, a variant obverse as well. Some don't have this printing on either side of the little doohickey there in the center. And so happy to have these. Again, these don't come across the LCS all that often, and happy to have gotten these. And I'm after the other type. I think the type 4 is almost impossible to get, I think, and also they're canceled, all the type 4s. Let's go to the book and see what I'm talking about. Here you can see the little spiel there, 3 obverse and 3 reverse varieties. Here's the one without the printing on either side of the center deal. Mine is this type of obverse, and I think I have this reverse. So that's one that I've got, and they're calling that type 2. And then type 3 is this one with the blank reverse, and I've got that one as well with that combo, so that's type 3. And then type 4 is canceled in both situations here. So bit of a challenge to collect these, minted in 1973 for Barbary Coast. And you can see the different reverse types. So I've got the one with 4,300 and not the one with 500. So I've got 5,000 and 4,300, type 2 and type 3. Get those into a capsule. And so this one's got some cool toning on the corners. I'm not gonna be dipping any of these, that's for sure. One. That one's a little tighter. A little tighter at the Mammy Pleasant House of Pleasure. Next up, we've got a Mark IV bar. And what's a Mark IV bar? It's a whole subset by USSC, and they're notorious for that. And I think that's one of the reasons I like USSC now. It's kind of vaulted to the top of my list of favorite mints. I started out really enjoying, and still do, Great Lakes mint, but USSC has kind of taken over as my favorite mint, I think. Anyway, Mark IV bars are a subset, like I mentioned, and some have this type reverse, and some have the traditional USSC reverse. Let's check the book. And here we are in the book, Mark IV bars, and there is the traditional Mark IV reverse, and there's the New Frontiers, USSC 132, 1974, no serial number, open mintage, whatever that means. I guess they were still minting at press time. And so rarity index, or rarity value 4. So very, very cool. So I do have several of the Mark IV bars, and we'll check those out at another time when we join all these up. There we go. Next up, it's another bar from a subset of USSC. Can barely see it, actually. So this is a series called Man's Contribution to Man. All right, let's verify. I sounded like I was questioning myself, and I was. I get confused with The Twilight Zone and To Serve Man. So, Man's Contribution to Man, a 12-bar set. And so, of course, Benjamin Franklin has to be on there. And yeah, the quality of the strike, not so special. This has a USSC reverse. And let's check the book, because that is important. Back to the front page here. Anyway, issued in a deluxe velour 12-bar case. So that would be awesome to have. So, there we go. So, we got Benjamin Franklin, USSC 39. And here we go, Benjamin Franklin. There are some without a serial number, and there's some with a reverse variety. So, I've got Type 1 reverse, only 500 minted, so $30 rarity value, no serial number. So yeah, Benjamin Franklin reverse, made in 1981. So Type 1, get that in a... And so I think by the time they made these, the die was just cooked, and that's why it's so hard to see the definition in old Benjamin there. And I do have a Walt Disney with a similar affliction. You can barely see his face. And last but not least, we've got another in that series, Man's Contribution to Man, and this is Carl Sandberg, the American bard. And so, a poet, and didn't know it. Actually, no, he did. I had to say that, though. You can't not rhyme that one, right? So here is the original reverse. To commemorate that set or series. This one has a serial number, limited edition. So you can see the strike quality is so much better. We are back in the book. And so USSC 37 is Carl Sandberg. And there is a variety that has that same USSC reverse, but ours is the one with 700 minted, so $30 rarity value, minted in 1974. So yeah, definitely a big difference in the strike quality on the earlier ones. So happy to have that. And that is one of the challenges with USSC. They have so many varieties, can't collect everything, but you can try. So let's get these into a new Guardhouse box. I maxed out. I have 50 in another box. Let's start a new one. There we go. I even got a little snack pack in here. So let's make some room. All right. So we'll get those two in. Be the first ones to christen the new box. So, and I will match up all my other ones in another episode here. Don't want to make this one too long, so we'll get Barbary Coast and Mammy Pleasant's House of Pleasure in there. And upside down, Independence Day. St. Patrick's. Actually, we'll leave a space here. We need, where's Uncle Sam? We'll put him next. On the other, St. Patrick's Day. We got our Mark IV. And last but not least, the Taj Mahal. So there's 10 to start a new Guardhouse box. So, I thank you so much for watching Coin Sense and Nonsense. And until next time, bye. Bye. All right, I should be making a bar video or some kind of video. I'm driving a fucking U-Haul truck on the weekend. What the hell? All right, I guess we can get... I'm reaching for the wrong one. It helps to look, not look through the camera, dick. right, so let's keep it going with the... Oh, shit. All right, let's continue with that one. So... Here we are. And that's the beauty of you... Well, it helps if you put it up the right way. Fuck, dude. St. Patrick's Day, 1974. And no mintage. Actually, there is mintage data. Dick. All right, I should be making a bar video or some kind of video. I'm driving a fucking U-Haul truck on the weekend. What the hell? Next up, it's another themed or not themed. Shit. And that brings us to the final. Ooh, snapper. Shit. Does it have a serial number? Does it have a serial number? Well, of course it's got a serial number, dummy. It's right there. 545. So